Okay, on this one we're going to work on the project payments pivot table. And it is to add a category as a row, add two calculated fields, change the pivot table headers to above, add a slicer, and filter for Nebraska. This one is not difficult. I already did it, and I don't know how to delete and start over. So I'm just going to leave them here, but show you how I did it. These two, D and E, were not here. These are added. These are calculated fields that I added. And the way you do that is to go to Pivot Table Analyze, go to Fields, Items, and Sets, go to Calculated Field. Now, and then it brings up a screen and helps you build your calculated field. Now, one important thing here is that the name, if you want to name, like in the case here, amount space owed. So if I name that here, then you're not able to use that same name twice. So you would not be able to name it this header amount owed. So the best thing to do is to change it to something slightly different. So it could be amount, no space, OWED CALC, kind of to just let you know that it's a calculated field. And in this case, it starts out with formula equals 0, but what we're going to do is the amount owed, of course, is the difference between the estimate, or I should say it's estimate minus paid to date, right? So select that field and insert it. Now hit the minus sign and down here select paid to date and insert. Now you have estimate minus paid to date and say OK. Now you see it added again what I've already done here, and it says sum of amount owed calc. If I had named this exactly as it appears here, amount owed, and all right, let me just show you here. I cannot name this amount. I cannot name it as it same name as it is in a calculated field. Watch what happens when I press enter. See, it says name already exists, and it does exist as a calculated field, so I can't use that name as the header. So I have to use something else. So when you're creating a calculated field, you just got to be aware of the naming convention, and I mean, it's fine to just it populates it with field 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and you can leave it at that as fine. It's just when you're down here in your looking at a list of the fields, then you have to look at the formula. The field name doesn't, field 1 and 2 doesn't really say anything. And if you've got 100 of them, then that could make a difference. So that field is unnecessary. So now then you've calculated amount owed. And yes, I've calculated it again here, but just ignore that for now. Now they want the percent owed. So the percent owed is the amount owed, which we just calculated, divided by the estimate total. So this calculated field is using another calculated field in its in producing a new calculated field. So we'll go to calculated field. I'll call it PERCENT owed. And because we have already calculated the amount owed, we'll select that field, and then it's going to be divided by estimate, and say OK. Now notice that the formatting here, it's formatting it as a dollar or as dollars when it's actually a percent. That's why you see, oops, that's why you see, so all you have to do is go to the field list, here, field list, and I'm going to make this bigger if it'll let me. And so it should be this one, value field settings, and you want to go to number format and percent with 2 decimal places, and say OK, and OK. And then that changes it to a percent, just like it is here. So that, oh, and then let's see, I think there's one more thing. Oh yeah, change the names, which, you know, it would be, see, if I tried to say amount owed again, it would say it's already named here. So since I've already done it, I'm just going to leave these as, but you would then just change it to what the instructor wants the name to be. Just again, keep in mind, it can't be the same name as whatever you named the calculated field. Now, the last item I believe on this one was add slicer for state and filter for Nebraska. So again, you just come to your pivot table, analyze. Slicers are pretty straightforward. It's not a timeline slicer this time, it's a slicer on state. Okay, and there it is. So we must have a blank well, I don't even see state on the table, but there must be a blank row. Wait a minute, have I got this right? Hold on. Yeah, he says he wants it on the... Okay, so even though the state is not visible here, you can still use, I guess NE is, yeah, Nebraska is NE. And it's going to show you the data for Nebraska and or North Dakota or South Dakota or whatever. But anyway, that's it. Not too bad.